So this question actually came up around the challenge that we started on the 20th of August, and several people were sending in emails saying their spouses didn't support what they were doing. They felt like it would take away from their attention they were giving to their relationship, and sometimes the kids or the parents didn't support it, or their friends or people they felt like they needed for moral support while they were starting to not just think about doing something new, but I mean really do it, really work on it. Because most of us never get serious about really replacing our bad habits. We make sure that those are protected, and we only work on the stuff that is just superficial. And lots of people talk about waking up all the time, especially in the watching alternative news and stuff about freedom and what's going on in the world. People say, well, you have to have more people wake up. And they think this just means knowing what's really going on in the world, being aware of chemtrails being real and not a conspiracy theory, being aware that your food matters and is directly connected to how you age and whether you get diseases and your immunity to disease and that sort of thing. But that's just intellectual information. It's potentially useful, but if you just go on sleeping as far as your own condition, what are you going to do with all that potentially useful information? If you don't work on yourself, then you try to use it for the information that you learned for doing things in the outside world to make things better. And a lot of times the results are not as good as what you think. You're going to get contention within groups working for good causes, but they're all fighting with each other, and problems that they didn't think about coming up. So the question is, do you really want to wake up and not just memorize a bunch of stuff to talk about? Do you really want better relationships? Do you want better results from the work that you do at your job or in the outside world or on projects that you've got? Here's the paradox. If you want these things to be better in the world, in your relationships with other people and all that, usually the missing link is you have to work on yourself internally and your body and all this stuff. This is what the challenge is really all about. It's an invitation to work on yourself, not just talk about it, not just make a New Year's resolution and then forget about it and say, well, everybody does that, so it's okay. It doesn't matter what everybody else does. It only matters what you do. The time belongs to you. So if you do work on yourself for real, then who gets the benefit? Is it just you? Well, no, it's everybody else in your life. And who is that? Everybody. You're not limited in distance to only the people in your immediate family or the people within a few miles of where you live. It's everybody. So as a result of all of those people benefiting and all those situations benefiting and your work getting better and your relationships getting better and all that, who really benefits? You. Because you and they are all tied together. So when you make the relationships like most people do about what can I get? What can I get from this person, from this group? Am I getting enough? I don't want to put in too much. It's about what I can get. If you do that, eventually you burn out and you lose. But when you make it about what you can give to it, to the group or to the relationship or to humanity, or like President Kennedy famously said, to your country, and you just are focused on giving, what happens? Well, you win on all levels. You get more than you could have thought of getting. So how do you start to give more to everybody else around you? By being selfish and working on yourself. Honestly assessing yourself, making improvements in yourself, being willing, brave enough to look at habits that you would normally protect and not want to have looked at at all. And when you start doing that and you see the things that you want to improve and upgrade in yourself, not in somebody else, but in yourself, that's the person that you really have the most control over to make better, is you. And it's a secret that makes everybody else better too. We won't mention that right now. I just say, see what has to be improved in you. And then New Year's resolutions can happen on any day that you want. Make them realistic. not something that you can't do, for the next few years or something like that. Make them something really challenging, but that is possible for you to do. And then go step by step, keep upgrading the resolutions and upgrading your actions. Do it systematically and make it a permanent commitment. So if you want to be more effective in the world, you want better relationships, you want to get more from your relationships, stop thinking about getting more from the relationships and thinking, what can I make better in myself? Become who you actually really are. It's more fantastic than you can imagine. And don't waste even one day. So I'd say this is an unstable place, this so-called physical world. We don't know how long we're going to be here. At least I don't. Most of us don't. You have the present. And it doesn't mean you have to drop your responsibilities. You don't do that at all. The challenge is about doing your responsibilities, but while you're doing those, become more of who you actually are. Change your thought and emotional patterns. Change your relationship to programming so that you become free of it. That's a big deal in itself. And then work on your body. Honestly assess what it feels like, what it looks like, what condition it's in, whether it tends to get sick or not, how high your energy level is, and learn and do the things that you need to do to make those better. And the results are going to revolutionize every relationship you've got in your life and the ones that are waiting for you. So that's the message. When you're ready, start. You don't need anybody else necessarily. You can do it yourself, inspire yourself, do it with a friend, do it with a few friends, do it with us in Planetary Healing Club. We're there for you if you want. LostArtsRadio.com/club. But even if there's nobody but you, start and you'll be amazed what happens. Just don't start momentarily with the idea that you're going to give up. Start meaning that's your new life and it's never going to stop. And what you're going to experience is going to be worth it. See you next time, guys.